You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording, and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women, and welcome back to the Why Smart Women podcast. It is a beautiful sunny day today in downtown Sydney. I am podcasting from the northern beaches, and as soon as I have finished recording this, I am going down to DY where I will dive into the surf. Sorry to make people that are entering a European winter jealous, but there you have it. And today I am talking with my favourite debunking Gherkin, the Snarky Gherkin. Hi, Snarky.
Hi, Annie. Thanks for having me back.
Oh,
It's a rare, beautiful day in Melbourne as well.
is
Which
it?
is, it was first day of summer. It was 13 and rain, but I'm glad to say a few days in, I think we might hit the high 20s today, which is nice. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I don't know if everybody's listening. I don't know if people record their temperatures in Fahrenheit or Celsius, but here in Australia we record them in Celsius. Is that right? That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Is that right,
Yeah,
Snarky? Yeah.
it
And
is. Don't ask me
13.
what it is in Fahrenheit, though.
Yeah,
I have
don't
no
worry.
idea.
But 13
But
degrees for summer is a little on the disappointing side, I
that's
would
it.
say.
I might as well
Yep.
move to England with
Yeah,
this
just
weather.
move there
But
now.
yeah,
Actually, it's
that's it.
weirdly been cold here. Oh, Annie, shut up about the weather. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, look, Snarky, it's been an interesting couple of weeks following the latest attempts at running a march by the cookers, would you say?
That's it. The last time we met, I got tongue tied in trying to sort of abbreviate the different the different groups that were competing for the sort of the cooker ticket.
Yeah.
But we've just seen now the second iteration of, or gets the splinter part of that movement happen now. So it was, and as expected, it was a complete flop. Um,
Okay, so
mm,
I just always try and reframe everything just in case we have new listeners.
yep.
Um, and every week we look and there is somebody else from another fascinating part of the world that is tuning in. So here in Australia, we have fringe groups that we call the cookers that are made up of conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers, and lately people that seem to hate everybody that's not white. So that's how I would broadly describe it. And these disparate groups of people that seem to be unhappy and have a strong sense of being disenfranchised societally generally, they are trying to get together and form sort of protest marches across this great country of ours. And the thing that confuses us is who is attending the marches, who is running the marches, and what are they trying to achieve? That would be right, isn't it, Snarky?
Broadly, that's right. A lot of these people became personalities during various COVID lockdowns in Australia,
Mm.
especially
Yeah,
in Melbourne.
yeah,
And so a lot of them have been relatively sort of low engagement, low attention for the
yeah,
last couple of years since we've all just gone back to normal, despite their predictions. So some
yeah.
of them have found a new calling and have really just pivoted. Now I've been calling it the reheated leftovers of the anti-lockdown movement, and that's essentially what it is. It's the same
Yeah.
old faces
It's
trying
the
to.
same old faces, all trying to sort of, interestingly, how pretty much all of them are unemployed. Um,
Mm,
and also, I don't know if you know Jay Jay Hernandez or Fernandez, I think, and he's been broadcasting from his mother's bathroom or
Yeah,
cellar pretty much since the start. And he has a fine selection of things that he's unhappy with, and just seems to not work and drink a vast amount of vodka in
yeah.
Mumsy's bathroom. So I mean,
The irony is as well. He's a child of Polish migrants, isn't he, or something? I don't know his full background,
what
but
is his name? Is it Hernandez or I think it's Hernandez. Is that
it's
right?
Hernandez, but it's not his real name. I don't know his real name, but it's not that. But that's his internet name, or whether it's his mum's maiden name or something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure where Hernandez comes from because my confusion was because again he refers to himself as Polish. I've been to Poland many times and have
Mm.
Polish friends. I'm like, I'm not sure where the Hernandez line comes from in Poland. It's not the most Polish name in the world. But yeah, I've been corrected that no, it's not his actual name, and
Oh, okay. So
it's
he's
that he
using a name,
uses.
but he seems to just spend a lot of time in his mother's bathroom recording and broadcasting. Um, and I do and just not working. I mean, I don't know what these people do, but he doesn't seem to actually, strike a blow in any particular direction. But there's an awful lot that he is unhappy about. And oh,
Yeah,
that's right. He's the one that wants that's very keen on finding an unvaccinated woman so that he doesn't get shed on. I don't know. They've got this weird
that's it.
thing about vaccinated people shed proteins
Yeah,
or spike proteins or something. It's weird.
there's a running meme that whenever there's a single female anti-vaxxer that enters the chat, that Jay sends them a private message, and it's a bit of a sort of a running joke at the moment that he's forever on a quest to find
To
his
find
beloved non-vaccinated
yeah,
woman.
yeah.
So, but he's one of these people. I mean, he's not well, bless him, but he's like very opinionated. Really hasn't achieved anything of any worth. Very opinionated on all sorts of things, but
Mm.
doesn't exhibit any of those traits himself. Um,
Which
you know, he'll
traits?
he'll well he'll criticize migrants coming here for work, and he
Yeah,
doesn't work,
what's
and he'll
oh my God.
criticize
Yeah, 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 yeah.
just everything. It's just the things he criticizes it's just him projecting. Again, I don't know his full family history, but I'm pretty sure his mother or father are from Poland. They migrated here from essentially what would have been in the 80s a developing country, and so yeah, I just he's a contradiction wrapped in an enigma in a
Yeah,
in
but
a
a
in a
lot of them are.
yeah
A lot of them are actually children of migrants,
yeah
complaining vociferously about people coming into the country. Also, the latest
yeah yeah.
thing I heard from Monica Smith is she just wants people to be properly vetted when they come into the country and to not go straight on to social handouts. I don't know
Well,
where they
her
get this
wishes
stuff from. Mm?
have come true. I mean, it's intensely difficult to get a a visa to come to Australia. Um, and it's not. There aren't handouts automatically available for when people arrive here. Like it's just if she'd actually stop and spoke to anyone who is currently here on a skilled migration visa or any visa for that matter, she'd find
Mm.
that oh yeah, you can't just you can't just rock up to local Centrelink and claim and but again it's projection because she's probably been on Centrelink for a long time and she's worried that her slice of the pie is going to get shortened because all these other people coming. But yeah,
So that's Monica Smith, who was one of the organisers of the. Now that would have been the Melbourne anti-immigration cooker march. Is that right?
so she ran the whole march, no, put Australia first, which was a sort of a breakaway from the March for Australia crowd. Just for the too long didn't read version, there was going back earlier in the year.
Yeah,
There was this March for Australia
yeah, yeah,
movement, I guess you'd call it, and then Monica Smith saw an opportunity. It was quite a lucrative following, and she saw an opportunity to create her own version of that. So she put in some reasons that it's because of neo Nazis and things that infiltrated. Now she's danced with those people,
the
during
neo-Nazis. Yeah,
anti-lockdown marches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so there's been a little bit of a tiff back and forth between those two. We call it the Cooker Wars. So it's just, or
I
it's a
love
Cooker
the
Civil
Cooker
War.
Wars. I love that.
That's
I
it.
love
And
it.
so the irony is, and they've actually, there's been a bit of an exchange between, like, Monica had blocked, and this sounds really catty and high school,
Yeah, go,
but
go, go, go. Yeah, yeah.
Beck Freedom, whatever
Yeah.
her real name is, she was blocked by Monica, and so she was the head of the main movement. But they actually had an exchange on I don't know where, it was like some sort of live
Telegram or
feed,
something.
Telegram feed or something. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't, uh, I'm not going to recite much of it, but it was, Beck did highlight that Monica was using their footage to promote her own stuff. And she's like, well, if you disagree with it, why are you using our footage? And I know it's all a bit sort of catty and back and forth, but Monica, we don't know the full details about, originally it was going to be a nationwide protest, but
The
then it just got
last one was
scaled.
going to be nationwide, right?
There's going to be nationwide,
Attended by millions of unhappy
millions,
Australians.
trillions
Trillions.
of unhappy Australians. So,
Yeah.
but then they didn't. From what I gather, and people have asked me, like, what's happening with Brisbane? It's like, don't know. I can't find anything about it. A few little country towns like Toowoomba had one, and I
How
don't
many
know.
people attended the Toowoomba one on their
There
walking
was there was
frames?
a there was a
Mm.
lone lady with a red ensign flag. Apparently at
No.
that one, there
Are you
was,
serious? So one
mm,
person with a flag walk.
well, reportedly, I had a message from someone to say, oh, I've just seen some dear old love standing near the memorial with with a red flag, and that's that. So, but yeah, they only promoted Melbourne and Sydney. Now, where the confusion came about was when, after a few months of promoting this hard, it was meant to be Sunday, the 30th of November.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My presumption is that the Sydney like permit got knocked back for the Sunday, so that was actually then changed to Saturday the 29th.
Yeah.
No real explanation given, but even in their own material, like, she was sort of almost like dyslexically kind of mixing up the dates, and it was like, not knocking anyone with dyslexia. I do it all the time with my posts. I have all sorts of awesome people reach out and say, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
you've spelt that wrong or whatever. But
Yeah,
and so
yeah, yeah.
that
Me
that
too.
just sowed a lot of confusion. So, and even on the morning of Saturday the 29th, in the comment section of this Reignite Democracy / March for or Put Australia First, there were people sort of saying, hang on, I'm heading into Melbourne. This is supposed to be the one of,
So it's violently, badly disorganized.
that's it. So people were confused. On Saturday the 29th, people were messaging, hey, I'm on my way into Melbourne, no one's here. And likewise on Sunday, people in Sydney, hey,
Where
where
is
is everybody? And,
everybody? They should have
you
gone
know,
to Toowoomba and joined that one woman on
they
the
should have
street with
put
her
some buzzers
flag,
on.
right?
That's right. That's right. So the Sydney one was, we got some awesome followers that, live in apartments and staying in
You do. So
hotels and
you,
things
the
around
Snarky
Sydney.
Gherkin, have
That's right.
followers that
The
and can
pickle
look out
jar.
their windows, like from Macquarie Street or something.
That's it. So
Mm.
in the pickle jar, as we call it, the community. We had people sending aerial shots of the
Okay, so
of the protest.
I'm just going to explain to our listeners that come from other countries. So the Snarky Gherkin has a very large following of what we would call normal, rational, sensible people who
Just normies.
understand
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's okay to get vaccinated, that really we're incredibly lucky to live in this fantastic country, which has really, I mean, of course, there's people that are marginalized, and of course, we have poverty, and of course, we have domestic violence, etc. But broadly speaking, um, this is a pretty easy, good, well-supported place to live. And so, we understand it's fine to get vaccinated. And we understand, us sort of rational people, that of course we need immigrants. We are all immigrants and we need immigrants, because if we didn't have immigrants, then this country would not keep running. We would all fall over. And also that the notion of there being mass immigration is an absolute furphy. We don't have mass immigration here. So this group of sensible rational people follow the Gherkin, follow the Snarky Gherkin, who I'm currently talking to, and they report from their windows these sort of ragtag marches of these sort of strange collection of disenfranchised, unhappy people. And at the head of these disenfranchised, unhappy people are the people that lead it and try and co-opt them, and they are the grifters. They are the ones that are trying to actually co-opt this sort of thinking so they can sell things. Correct, Snarky?
Yeah, it's a combination. There's a few factors and a few extra layers from my
Yeah,
perspective. I know a lot of people that
yeah,
follow it, so it's okay to have genuine discussion and critique around questions about
sure.
about our society, and do we want to have big Australia,
Mm,
like in terms of population and things like that. But this isn't what this is, and the page and a lot of the people on it are very open to genuine good faith discussions around those sorts of topics, around migration and around various regulatory laws coming in
sure.
and things. But that's not what these people are doing, and we've seen this same pattern of this before. If they've presented themselves as sort of grassroots and just concerned normal day Aussies, and it's not what they are. They're the same faces that we've seen during the anti-lockdown movements during the start of the pandemic. They were yelling at hospital staff. They were
Yeah.
encouraging people to not follow certain health directives and things. So
Well, a couple of
to
them were
an
actually
aspect,
ripping masks off people that they saw on the street.
yeah,
So
they were
they're
like
pretty febrile.
semi-violent. When they had a decent following, or thought they had a decent following, they were calling for and touched on this before. I won't dwell on it, but it's calling for nurses to be hung and
Hmm.
nasty
That's
things
nice.
like that. And so I
Yeah.
make it a point, until they, and I've always said about this, like with some of these personalities and stuff, like if they want to go back and live a normie life and just get a job and get on with it, we'll you know
We'll leave them
we'll
alone.
leave them alone. But until they acknowledge, if Monica Smith acknowledges the nonsense that she'd said and peddled, I'd
Which is
probably
what? Just
probably
let's
just
quickly just remind everybody about the nonsense that's been peddled by Monica Smith.
well, it's years of it. It's
It is
absolute just
years of it.
years
I
and
know.
years and years of
There was
just
Cell Block
and
11, remember that? The book?
that's cell 11. No, what is it? Cell 20. No, I don't even know what it's called.
Cell
Um,
22, which apparently was just full of typos and shocking grammar.
well, they're the special edition. There was 300 and something typos in the first one, but there's been a re-release. But it's the original run is more lucrative now because it's just yeah. But so yeah, I mean yeah. So these people that yeah, it's they've been at this for 5 years now, and it's just we just keep an eye on them. We try not to let people forget, and there's a lot of people probably coming across them for the first time, thinking, oh
And I
yeah,
think that's
they
important.
sound reasonable.
I think
Yeah,
it's important that we keep sort of almost reframing and re-explaining why we do this, because there's a tendency for us to sort of fall into the trap of assumed knowledge. And
yeah,
because we are so closely following this, there's an assumption that other people are also aware of this and also aware of the trajectory that they've been on, which is now years, right? It's been
yeah,
years. And I know that um, the Australian skeptics, someone from there sent me a thing recently about Monica Smith and her mother selling EMF things to block
yeah.
the, what does that do? It blocks something from your phone. What does it do?
Well, it
Blocks the,
doesn't do anything, but
no, no, it doesn't. What does it say that it
it's
does?
supposed to block the radiation from your phone, and then just various other bits and pieces. But again, you've got to, for the grift machine or grift economy as we call it, they need to create fear and suspicion. You need to. It's almost like a almost semi-Pentecostal kind of aspect to it, where everybody's dirty. The original sin is in this fallen world we're in, but their
Ah,
products are the ones that
okay.
can
That's
cleanse.
really
And you
interesting.
know
Yeah, yeah, because I know that Monica Smith, um, there's a lot of God talk going on there as well, and doing it for Jesus, or I don't know, she
which
wears a
annoys
cross.
me, because yeah, it
Yes.
annoys me because I don't think you could have any theological discussion with her, and I'm not convinced that she really, if she did follow the teachings of Christ and whatnot, real or otherwise, she wouldn't be as just wouldn't be as nasty as she is.
Oh,
She'd
well,
show a lot more
really,
compassion.
on that note, you could then just include, every single right-wing evangelical
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that wants to, obliterate, anybody that's not white. I mean, there's some astonishing rhetoric that comes out of the mouths of people that purport to follow the teachings of Jesus. I mean, my husband comes from a Christian background.
mm,
I come from, my father was a raging atheist. My mother was Jewish, so I sort of came from this sort of mixed household where I'm apparently Jewish because
yeah,
it's in my blood, but I myself am a absolutely committed atheist. My
yeah.
father's arguments made more sense than anything. I find this co-opting of this Christianity into their grifting deeply distasteful and really shallow. And to your point, if you sat down with Monica Smith and said, let's have a theological discussion, I think she'd be lost in the first 10 seconds, yes?
That's right. I'm not particularly a deeply religious person, but
Mm.
I've I know a fair bit about about Christianity. I've you know um I'd gladly sit down with her and sort of poke. I'd love to sit down with her and poke and scratch away about what it is, test her sort of, and not from a, like recite this verse for me, but in terms
Yeah,
of
yeah,
just
yeah.
getting her understanding
Yeah.
of and some of just the theological sort of backing as to what does she think this means, or how does your behavior correspond with this belief
With
system
this
in
particular
certain ways.
teaching. Yeah.
And I don't want to put all anybody in people in the same basket. There are lots of Anglicans and Catholics and people that I interact with and know and who are very intelligent people, and
And
they
good
they
people,
see
right? Good people.
very very
Me
decent people.
too.
You
Me
wouldn't know
too.
it. They don't do it in the name.
Yeah.
It's just quiet and humble, and and there's a lot of non-believers like that too. But it's I it almost annoys me when they're sort of, I wish more mainstream or Christian figures would speak out about these people a bit more, because it's doing the whole faith a bit of a disservice. And yeah, but
And I think it's
maybe
interesting.
that
I
wouldn't be the
agree.
very Christian thing to do, to be to be publicly calling out people and yada yada yada. So I don't know. It's a bit of a contradiction, but yeah,
It is. And it's interesting, I think, what you said, and is entirely accurate, is the psychology behind their grifting, which is create a problem, create a fear, create an anxiety, and then present the solution. So
mm,
so we look at the notion of let's take vaccines. Vaccines are going to, what do they do to you? They make you autistic. They
oh,
they
everything
they
just yeah,
turbo cancer. They're doing everything. They're causing everything. Um, so then we create that, and then we say, so don't have a vaccine, but instead, here's my supplement.
yeah,
Or here's, I know that Monica Smith and her mother were selling beef tallow a couple of weeks
yeah,
ago. So I mean, there's always a product. There's always something that they're selling. So they create the fear, and then here's the solution. And it's really, unfortunately, for every person in this country currently who isn't like, shiny and white, they're now creating fear around people that aren't white, and that is disgraceful. That is absolutely disgraceful,
yeah.
because there's an awful lot of people that are vulnerable to this thinking, and it's dangerous.
It
Racist
is.
thinking and racist rhetoric is really dangerous.
So it's interesting, Monica's pivot on this. So she would insist that no, she's not racist, or she's not against non-white people, which is why
Mm,
she created, in her words, tried to go a middle ground. So she tried to capture the far right movement and even she would agree that it's extreme right essentially. So for the March for Australia, like when you had the
The Nazis.
neo-Nazi
Mm.
groups arrive, people were reporting them and stuff like it was insane.
Mm.
So she tried to capture, sort of take that movement or at least take a chunk of it and bring it to the middle. So she had various speakers with, I don't even recall who even some of the speakers even were, but they
Mm.
were of, non-Anglo European backgrounds to sort of show, hey, look, how can we be
Hey, look, I
racist
don't
if we
mind
have,
people being brown. I like
yeah,
brown.
that's it. Look, I have a friend, and
I
so
have a single friend who's not white. Look.
yeah, it was a little bit like that. So in her own going after the flop of the second day in a row with these marches, she was caught on the side of a footpath somewhere, and somebody was asking her a few questions on video, and she was pretty deflated, and
Because no one
she
turned up to the Cooker March.
no one turned up, and she had conceded that she was lured into a bit of a false sense of surety, where because of the high engagement online, tens of thousands of likes, or thousands of reactions every time she puts a not a really well thought out post up, but the engagement was insane.
So
She
let's talk about that, because I think that is really, really interesting. The disparity between an online response, which has, sort of a fervor, and how that co-opts the brain into thinking that that's going to translate into boots on the ground, right? How does that happen? And is that
that's
common?
right. It's very common. So I think we see it even at a fringe political level where you have people that are just surrounded by sycophants and others, and there's just this echo chamber. And so Monica would be deep 5 years into a pretty robust echo chamber. And so, yeah, and it just doesn't translate. There's a few different sort of theories flying around, like people are saying, oh, and this is an interesting sort of side note. And I'm not sure if I think it's actually been deactivated, but briefly on Twitter for about a week and a half, you could actually look at where the domain was or of the user. So you had a lot of these, and I took a few screenshots myself. So an interesting one, for example, and I'm reluctant to kind of press this because it just leads people down anti-Semitic kind of roads and stuff. But like Rebel News Australia, for example, really right wing, that's based out of Israel for some reason, or they're posting from Israel.
Hang on, hang on, hang
They
on. Back the truck up. So hang on. There's
Yep.
what's the name of the publication?
So
Oh, the
Rebel News Australia,
Rebel News.
It's a Canadian based far right, sort of tries to present itself as sort of like a news outlet, but it's just really fringe talking points, and they just peel away at culture war sort of fringe points. So
Like
before the
what?
pandemic, before the pandemic, you would have had, some Rebel News reporters going to places like Melbourne University and approaching, say, Chinese students and try to get them to denounce the CCP or something. Now,
Hang on. So the
this,
Rebel News people on the ground would
yeah,
go to a university in Melbourne and
yeah,
approach somebody Chinese and get them to denounce the
the
Communist Party.
CCP, for example. And so, these students have a camera in their face and they're like, what? Like, and they don't, of course they're not going to they don't know who this camera is. And they'll say, well, I think isn't it a concern that your allegiance to the Communist Party and just sort of playing mental gymnastics with people. They'd go to
It's
they'd go to
fair.
climate
Oh my God.
marches and things. So now, like, it's just fringe talk, but they'd go to climate rallies and just try to sort of bamboozle people with sort of mental gymnastic stuff. So they'd be more prepared for stats than, say, some person at the rally
So hang on.
there on.
They're not. They'd obviously, because they're to the far right, they don't
Yeah.
believe in climate change. Is that correct?
Well, they won't say that, but they just go and mock. They go and mock, like, Extinction Rebellion, or they look for it's a little bit sort of like, do you remember I don't know if you had it in Sydney, but you have like the AFL footy show back in the day, and you'd have Sam Newman sort of
Yep.
taking it to the street, and basically they go to sort of some colourful different suburbs, and they might film 30 people, but they'll come across one or two oddballs, and that's what they kind of focus on. it's a little bit like it's that same sort of cheap formula. So they'll
So what
go.
did Sam Newman do? I didn't like Sam Newman.
So he back in the day, he had a
Don't
segment
sue me,
called
Sam, but go on.
no, that's it. It was like wasn't it taking it to the street or something? And it was and he'd go to you know like let's say like he'd go to Collingwood Flats or something, which is like a sort of a housing commission
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
And
And then
so
do what?
and if Collingwood Football Club was, on a losing streak or something, he'd hang around sort of the foyer of the, or, or the main street in, near the Collingwood Flats, and he'd look for, I don't know, some down and outer on his way to the methadone clinic or something,
Yeah,
and camera in the
okay.
face, and hey guys, what do you think about magpies? And they're like, oh, magpies are effing useless, and you'd
So the
always get this sort of
magpies for
colourful.
people who aren't followers, and also from other countries, the magpies are Collingwood, correct?
That's right, yeah.
And
So
Collingwood
they're
is a very high profile club, football
Yeah, I'd
club
say
in
they
Australia.
for
Yeah.
UK listeners, they're probably like the Manchester United maybe of Aussie rules football. Could be wrong.
Okay.
Probably going to get hate messages for that, but
And for the
uh,
United
you
States,
know,
what would be the equivalent?
I don't know, Green
A
Bay
base.
Packers or something. I
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I'm not that into it, but
No, I'm
it's
not either. But what we're saying is
yeah,
they
yeah.
search, they sort of go out onto the street, these people, and they interview people to come up with something that's sort of a bit inappropriate and a bit off the wall, so they can sort of infer that's the mainstream. Is that what you're saying?
It'd be yeah, so it'd be like the American equivalent or UK equivalent. It'd be like wandering into Chatswood Estate in Manchester, or going to rundown areas of Detroit or something, and
Oh,
and
okay.
sort
Yeah.
of like kind of putting a camera in people's faces. But it was sort of like it was semi lighthearted because it was just about sport and sporting
But this is
rivalries and
not
stuff. So
lighthearted, right? These
no, so
guys are not lighthearted.
they've essentially taken that formula and have it on a culture war sort of spin. So they'll go, and I'm not saying everyone they approach some really articulated people,
Mm.
but they would always focus on, the people that were caught out or the people that were a bit sort of flummoxed or
Yeah.
and represent that as like, look, everybody at this rally is an idiot, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
the same.
yeah.
So it's that
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
when
that
the
same
pandemic,
thing as the science comes up against this issue that
yeah,
alternate
yeah,
med will go for an anecdote
yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to something that has genuine data and has done proper trials behind it, right? Because you've got one
Yeah, that's it.
story and one story of somebody that took garlic and ginger and a high dose of
Yeah, yeah,
C, and they got through their COVID. So you
yeah,
don't need the vaccine and you don't need an antiviral. So one story, as we know, unfortunately, in terms of the brain, the story of one person has far more traction than
yeah.
data, which is why,
That
say, a charity will talk about, they used to say there's 5 million children and they're starving, and now they
yeah.
don't do that. They go, here is little Ahmed, and he has to walk 5K to get water, and he needs your support, because the brain goes, aha, it's one person and one story. So it's sort of the same, right? They find a little anecdote and then they explode out from that, correct?
Well, yeah, that's it. So just going back to the point, like with back to that news or whatever you want to call it, Rebel News, that post for some reason the domain is out of Israel, and so then that's a little bit sort
Wow.
of okay, but that's I don't want to go down the slippery slope of
No, no, no.
you just
Let's not.
know people like see it's all Zionists and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
It's like no,
exactly.
that's not what I'm suggesting. It's probably just
Yeah.
some like admin kid that they've employed
Yeah,
to monitor,
exactly.
but a lot of what was coming out on Twitter is a lot of these like MAGA personalities on Twitter and that have massive followings
So
are
everybody
all
that's not Australian or American,
well, there were
MAGA
Australian. Oh
is
yeah, sorry.
is the
Yeah,
Make America Great Again, which is the
that's it.
Trumpism that's currently running rampant in America, which of course is extremely
Yeah,
problematic. Hmm.
but there's a lot of profiles that are being administered out of places like Bangladesh and Pakistan and India and things like that, and same as
Uh-huh.
the UK equivalent. So a lot of the
Uh-huh.
Farage kind of bots and stuff,
Oh my
they're
God.
all, and so
Will
it's and
Farage
so
just go away? It's unbearable.
yeah, So
Yeah.
there's a theory. So some people have said, I don't know, like I haven't verified this, but some people are saying Monica may be victim to that in terms of she's just got a lot of these bots that are just employed
Okay,
to
so let's
just
take it back so we're
spread
clear.
apart.
So Monica
Yeah, yeah.
Smith has got had looked at this sort of online response and went, "Oh my God, I'm massively popular. My ideas are really mainstream.
She'd
I'm
have
going to
close to
get out there."
100,000 followers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
How
she'd
much?
have
How
close
many
to 100,000.
followers has she got?
About it's like 97 or 98,000 followers. So
Right.
it's a decent following.
Yeah.
The engagement isn't that great on her posts the last sort of couple of years. Sometimes
Yeah.
she'll get 5,000 reactions on something, but
Yeah.
normally it's pretty. They normally fall pretty flat. But
Yeah.
she's got other platforms too, and as referenced in a post earlier today, she goes on Telegram, and whenever she says something, there's all these fire emojis and "you go girl" and "when are you going to become our prime minister?" And it's all this sort of
Oh,
fluffing up,
okay.
and it's
Prime
so
Minister.
she,
That'd be nice.
that's it. So she does have, and she's conceded it. Like she said in this sort of off the cuff chat the other day that it had drawn her into a false sense of assurance, and so she then the funny part is she's referred to herself now as mainstream,
Yeah.
the
What
very
is
thing
that?
that she's.
What does she mean by that?
Well, she's just seeing herself. She said that she tried to take the middle ground on this migration issue, where maybe we should just have certain types of migrants and not
What?
just ban it altogether. Because the other group wants to,
Far
they
out.
want a 5 year pause. So there's no ban. They want 5 years, not a single person in. Like just
Who
that's
wants the
it.
5-year pause? Who's this?
That's the March for Australia group, the other Cooker group,
And
where
who
Monica's.
in this 5 years supposedly is going to run our IT, work in our restaurants, right? Work in the public service, work in the hotels. We're going to have what? They're going to have nobody here but a few unemployed white people. I mean,
their
what are they
their their
talking
mate
about?
their mate Steve can do it. They
Their
all know
mate
someone
Steve.
named Steve
Yeah, they're
that can
taking
that can
my
do it. Yeah,
jobs.
it doesn't make any sense. And again, these are people, frankly, who don't work, so they don't understand. My analogy is like you wouldn't give a cruise ship to these people to run. You wouldn't say, right, here's a cruise ship, run it. The
What's a
whole
cruise
the
ship?
whole
I don't know what that is.
no, a cruise ship. Like a
Oh, a
sail, like a cruise
cruise
ship.
ship.
Yeah. Like it's a tremendously complicated uh like thing. You've got to orchestrate the staff, and there's people you got to cater for, and it's really difficult. These people wouldn't be able to manage. uh
No.
you wouldn't give them a cruise ship to manage. Why would you give them a country? And these people, they have these theories. They'll rip a bong and sit back and be like, yeah, we
Riverbong.
can, again, no shade at pot smokers. It's completely fine. I'm no beef
Rip a
there, but
bong or have a vodka
it
in your mum's bathroom, right?
yeah
And then think that you understand actually what's
yeah
going on. And it's back to
yeah
that notion of just generalizations that if you actually pick at the edge of the generalization, of course, it just makes no sense.
That's right. And then
None
Monica
of
went
it.
on
But
to
yeah,
say, like, she then, the end part of it, or
is this
she then
Monica?
continued. This is back to the impromptu interview. Is she then said, when you say more inflammatory things, it it gets more engagement than if you say nuanced things, or try to take the middle ground on certain topics. So she sort of really came to that conclusion. Now she's been saying inflammatory things for 5 years, so it's like there's no
100%.
boo hoo. I don't well that you've just realised like kind of what you've, although she's known what she's been doing from the start,
Yeah.
but it's just so it's interesting. We'll see how she pivots. I think she'll dwell on it for a while and expect to see more
There'll be a
uh
product. There'll be
fringe
I reckon there'll be a combination of an EMF blocker made out of beef tallow so that
probably.
it's natural, but you will no longer be damaged from your phone. Don't you
I tell
reckon?
you, I tend to knock beef tallow a lot in my posts, and I have had some people comment like, "Hey, love your posts, but lay off the beef tallow because it's really handy," like pun intended. Because they're like, "Oh no, I use beef tallow. It's better than
For
moisturizer." I'm
what?
like, okay,
Oh,
whatever.
it's like
I don't
apple
know.
cider vinegar. Apple
Yeah,
cider
it's not.
vinegar.
And these
Ugh.
aren't cookers necessarily. Like, and so I don't know. I err with caution. These are people I'm like, okay, I'll lay off it a bit. Like if I'm sure if you're finding enjoyment out of it, then so be it. But
Look,
yeah,
it's totally fine if you want to put lemon into warm water and have that on an empty stomach every morning because of some misplaced notion that it kickstarts your digestive system, when what it actually does is acidize the situation and hurt your teeth, then go ahead and do that. But can we not? Yeah, it's not good for you.
I've heard you talk about lemon water before. Does lemon water clean your
It
insides? I've
doesn't
heard
do
it
any,
say,
it's just
or
lemon.
disinfects.
And it
No,
doesn't do it. It's just lemon
but lemon
in
disinfects my bench. Wouldn't it
it
disinfect
is
my
not
inside?
okay. Are you
That's not how it
cleaning
works.
everything with a bit of lemon? Because it's you know what you need to do? You need to clean everything with a lemon and then cut up an onion and put that on the soles of your feet and wrap your feet in Glad wrap. That's going to detoxify you.
I saw that this morning, actually, the lemon
Oh
thing.
man,
They're like, you shouldn't eat lemon because it's so toxic, but it's good to
you
put on
can't
you,
eat it.
not in you. You can't
Just
eat it.
don't.
Just too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
Barbara O'Neill. Barbara
Right.
O'Neill, who's very dangerous individual, and who advocates. I don't know what you can't have a vaccine and you can just cure everything with a bit of lemon and onion. And the problem is Barbara O'Neill, who's been banned from her naturopathy practice. She's very, very dangerous, and she has a large following. And my friend Kate Thomas,
Yes.
who is awesome, who I am interviewing tomorrow night live at the Skeptics in the Pub. So
Oh, nice.
Thursday evening, yes, yeah. Me and Richard Saunders, who's the chief investigator for the Australian Skeptics, are interviewing some really interesting, smart women live at the pub. It's going to be fantastic. And we're going to be talking about the fact that these people that advocate for these natural bullshit cures are actually really, really dangerous. Really.
I
Mm.
received a threat about talking about her yesterday,
Oh,
Barbara O'Neill. So
did you?
not from her, but a follower of hers that I often see on the page. They sent me a private message, and
Ooh.
going back, I won't go too into it, but I made a post about a week ago, not even necessarily directed at Barbara, but it was she was sort of entangled in it in this example I was giving.
Mm.
I removed the post though. There was a couple of things in there that weren't factually correct, so I just removed it and was going to revert back to it. And I just haven't got back to it, sort of thing. I was gonna post it. It
Okay.
wasn't up long. It didn't have much traction, and I was like, I'm going to repost a correction and the post in due course. Now a lot's happened since then. A lot more interesting things. It was a mundane post. It wasn't engaging really well anyway.
Yeah.
But this person's taken that as a you removed it because you knew that we're
Yeah.
onto you, and if you
Yeah,
comment on her
Snarky.
again, you're going to
Yeah.
regret it, and just
Yeah.
don't push us. And so now I'd actually forgotten about it, and now I want to post it because I said, well, you've just piqued my interest now because
Yeah.
I
It's
I
not good.
I've
It's
act,
not good. And
it
I'm
was
only
removed because
saying
it was
if anybody complains to me about this, I am not saying anything that hasn't come out of her mouth,
yeah, well,
which
that's
is
it.
that onions, etc., are very, very good. And yeah, I think
Externally though, right? Only
don't
externally.
eat one. You should
Yeah,
know
not
that as a
internally.
gherkin.
That's
You as
right.
a gherkin should not be consuming onions because it'd be like your cousin.
Well, did you know, I read yesterday, cucumbers have more aluminium in them than vaccines have, about 10 times more.
Stop.
Boom,
Can you tell
boom,
me
boom,
that? I love
boom.
that. Tell me that.
It does. So don't quote me on it, but
Okay.
it's got
Well, you're
apparently
on the
the
podcast, so I am
well, I
quoting you.
am. Yeah, you are. No, quote me on it. All right. So some cucumbers have been measured to have about 5, is it milligrams of aluminium? Don't think that's
I
right,
don't know
actually.
how. Can you explain that to me? I'm ignorant about the aluminium content of a cucumber. What do you mean?
Well, it's just naturally occurring aluminium,
Oh, it's
and so
naturally
fruit and
occurring.
vegetable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's it. So fruit and veggies, lots of things have. Apparently, you inhale. Apparently, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm
Yeah.
reading stats about so I was reading about like naturally occurring aluminium
Yeah.
and apparently you can absorb more aluminium by breathing near a barbecue
Yeah.
than
Doesn't
you would
surprise
absorb
me. Yep.
through a vaccine.
Yep.
And so this thing about vaccines, aluminium and the heavy metals that are
Autism.
causing autism and
Autism.
things like that,
Yep.
it naturally occurs everywhere. Well, not everywhere probably, but it naturally occurs a lot. And so I was reading about, okay, well, what are the highest sort of bananas have like a shit ton amount of of aluminium in them.
It's why we're all autistic
And so
from, yeah.
that's right.
Also,
And
the
so, and
other
it's not,
thing is, it's so insulting to people that are on the spectrum.
that's another thing too.
Like, leave
Everyone I
them
know who
alone.
on the spectrum is awesome. I work with so many
Me
amazing
too.
people, actuaries and financial people,
Me too.
and it's their superpower, and they'll be the first to say it. So, again, that's probably something I need to check myself on too, because it's like I don't emphasize enough that there's actually there's a lot of amazing autistic people, and it shouldn't be used in the negative light that it
It
is,
should
because
not. And I'm
it's,
telling you, we would
you
not
know,
be functioning as a society, and
yeah,
nothing would have been actually discovered if it wasn't for people that were on the spectrum. Because someone like me,
yeah,
I do not have the focus to deep dive into a topic enough to make a discovery and find a cure. So
that's right.
it's just the most appalling thing that they bang on about paracetamol or Tylenol or vaccines or
Yeah,
whatever are causing autism, like it's the worst thing in the world. It's a disgrace. Oh, I was going
yeah,
to have
it
something
is.
really interesting to ask you then. Oh, that's what it was. Tell me, because I'm genuinely interested. Do you know much about microplastics?
I do actually.
Oh,
My
can you
wife has
tell me,
been.
because that's a genuine danger, right?
It is. I don't know a lot about it, but my wife has been kind of going down the rabbit hole a bit
Mm.
on microplastics in
Mhm.
a healthy way. So
Yeah, good.
it's, I mean, it's just everywhere. So at the bottom of the, is it Mariana Trench, the lowest point in the world, they've found microplastics,
Oh
and
my God.
it's just in everything and everywhere. So
And what
I've
is it
read,
actually? What is the okay, two things. I know that
yeah,
you know, you're not a scientist, but two things. Um, what are the actual dangers of it, and how do we protect ourselves? Mm.
I don't think it's possible. You can mitigate it to an extent, but I
How?
think it's so prevalent. Well, just a less reliance on plastic products. So apparently, with it, like my wife was reading yesterday, that with a new kettle, that for the first time that you use it, there's something like, so many billion parts per, fragments, whatever, of microplastics in that water. It's not solved in the way, so a lot of grifters and snake oil people will try to like sell you bits and pieces. I had one lady once say, "Oh, lucky I used my water filter," and it's like, "Well, what do you think the filter's made out of?" Like, it's probably plastic. So it's like,
Okay, so if I
it's
get a new
yeah,
kettle, because at the moment, as you're telling me this, I'm looking at Harry with
yeah,
Google eyes with my hand clasped over my mouth because
yeah.
I'm so appalled. So are we saying that products that are made from plastic, like a new kettle? So I'm going to be
Possibly. So go metal.
yeah.
So go. I mean, but there is no. I don't. So the long term effects aren't known. That you can get. I've read some bits and pieces before where like just samples from just high street have gone in, and they've I don't know if it's like scans or blood tests or whatever.
Samples
But
from what did
basically,
you say? Samples
offer
from
from like biological samples from people. So
yeah.
just plucking people off the street to sort of, just randoms, everyone, it seems it's almost like Neanderthal DNA. Like we've all got a bit of it in us.
Yeah,
It's
we've
like
all got microplastic.
we've all got microplastics, like
Okay,
everybody.
okay, this
So
I'm going to just ask you because obviously you've done some investigating and I've had my head
a
in
little
the
bit.
sand about it. So we
Yeah,
shouldn't be using, like, for instance, because this is as opposed to a manufactured cooker fear, this is a real fear and a real problem. So we shouldn't
it
be
is.
using plastic containers or Glad wrap. Is that right?
Yeah, it's avoiding heat on those things. So not to, when you, if you use Glad wrap and you're heating in the microwave, it's not to have the Glad wrap on. A lot of people reheat food with Glad wrap on, or with cling film on the
Can I
plate.
put the Glad wrap
So
on some, like, let's just say I've cooked a meal and it's cooled. Can I put Glad wrap over it and put it in the fridge, or is that dangerous?
if it's warm, apparently it leaks out a little bit more
Far out.
than so. But yeah, I don't know much about it. It's probably something definitely need to look into. It's something that's been around, like from a like I think in like a million years time, from a geological week, there's going to be this entire like plastic layer of like this time that we're alive.
Ooh,
The whole world is going to be this little kind of, but no, it's everywhere. It's in everything, and it's not. There is no, sadly, there's no detox for it. There's no pill for it. There's no, and even if you avoided like like plastic products, like you'd mitigate it slightly, but it is in everything. Like
Like
it's
what?
on
Like, okay,
everything.
so let's just say I have my kettle, my kettle is glass with a metal
Yeah,
element, isn't it? Is that right? Oh, where does
yeah,
the plastic? You mean if the kettle itself is plastic?
yeah. The kettle's plastic. That's right. Yeah.
So
So
if
if you
you've
got a
got
plastic,
a
most
glass
kettles are
one, is that
plastic.
okay? A glass
I'm
kettle
sure. Yeah. I mean, it might mitigate it ever so slightly, but it's in the water. It's in
in the
the. I don't know.
water? Oh
I
my
don't know if it's in the
God!
air, but it's in the vegetables we eat, even if they haven't come into contact with plastic. So it's if when they catch a salmon on the rivers of Alaska, or again pull up a crayfish off the west coast of Ireland, and they've got microplastics in all of them, different levels of course, but it's just
Interesting. I'm
it is a bit.
luckily I don't eat crayfish because I developed a seafood allergy.
See, I love
See,
seafood.
I know I
Not
did
getting
love seafood, but now I can't eat any of it, and it was a late life allergy development. It was very disappointing, but I can't touch seafood. I know it's bad.
yeah
It's
not
really
getting
bad,
too
but
philosophical about it, and yeah, plastic is crap, but in a lot of ways it's also been a good thing for a lot of, like, especially developing places, like with
yeah,
food hygiene and transporting
yeah, yeah,
food.
yeah.
And
We must always try
um
and look at the big picture, right?
yeah, it's been really integral to our world and our society and stuff, but it's just like most things. And but yeah, it's everywhere. I don't know a lot about it. I'm probably wrong. If anyone's like banging their desk listening to this thinking doesn't know what he's talking about, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, please,
But it's just
please write to me if we've discovered that Snarky's actually an idiot, and
oh no,
he's
I am. No,
no,
I'll
you are an
concede I'm an
idiot.
idiot, but
Yeah,
yeah, I am. But
yeah.
it's but I try to just provoke thoughts and
I
things. But
think
yeah, no,
yeah. Okay.
my wife's going down the microplastic rabbit hole more
I
than me
should
at
have
the minute.
interviewed
So
your wife.
yeah, I'll bring her up next time, Mrs. Gherkin. Yeah,
Can
she
I
can
bring on
go on and
Mrs. Gherkin and have a chat about the microplastics? I'd quite like that. And there's
I'll
things
see if
we
she's interested. Yeah,
yeah, do, do,
yeah.
do, do, do. What is your wife in a sciencey person?
No, but she's smarter than I am. But she's not sciencey.
So
But no,
she's
she's just
yeah,
a concerned mum,
interested,
like
concerned
just
mother.
looks,
Yeah.
yeah, concerned mother. And then yeah, and she's, I guess the algorithm has probably caught her attention on the microplastic thing, because she's often has various reels and posts presented
Oh,
to her
okay.
now
Well,
about
it's
the
caught my
impacts of it.
attention.
So
What I did
yeah,
with it is I stuck my fingers in my ears and went la 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 because it looked like such a big topic. I can only do so many topics at a time,
yeah,
especially ones that upset me, right?
it's probably one of those things where, not wanting to sound laissez-faire about it, like there's probably things you can do to mitigate it slightly, but
Yeah,
it's just so
we're
like
stuck.
grandfathered into like
Yep,
absolutely everything. It's not
yeah,
like asbestos where if we can just safely remove that wall,
yeah.
we'll be all right. Like even if you complete, and it's important not to get dragged into because you can go online and there'll be all sorts of things that'll promise that
Detox
it'll protect you. Yeah, detox, and and buy this filter because that's made out of
filter,
plastic to filter
detox.
the plastic out and
And
things.
I
But
reckon there'll be
yeah,
something. There was something the other day I was reading where somebody had a melanoma, and
yeah,
they were in the cookerverse, and they were
yeah.
saying I'm not too sure. And of course, somebody suggested black salve,
Oh no.
which just rots your face away. Anyway, skin away.
Is this the one on the cheek? I got sent this. Was
Yes, it is the one on the cheek.
oh
But there was somebody saying on that thread about the person, because the black salve thing is a classic, right? Because it's this
yeah,
dreadful
it's
thing, and
bad.
they put it on, just
I'd
eats
never
your
heard
flesh
about it
away. I
till
have.
recently. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I've
insane.
been aware of black salve for years. It's a nightmare. It rots everything. Anyway, and
What
then
is it?
somebody,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
oh, what
You
is
finish. Yeah.
it?
No,
It's
yeah.
natural, Snarky. It's naturally occurring, so it must be fine. It's
Is it like
something.
volcanic tar or something?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
something
what it
like
is.
that.
Like,
And the
yeah,
woman
okay.
that there's been a court case recently where because a woman, the TGA, somebody took this woman to court about it. There was a case
Yeah,
because she kept selling it, and it's deeply damaging. And of course, if you're in that sort of alternate medication environment, and you've gone to the doctor and they've said, look, you have a cancer, you have a melanoma, we have to remove it. And then you've spoken to one of your alt med cooker mates, they've gone, that's nonsense. You just need to put black salve. And then you order it and then you put it on and then you end up with a hole in your cheek. That's exactly what happens. It's illegal to sell it now. It's a disaster. But anyway, this guy on the thread was like, the first mistake you've made, I don't know if you read this, is buying into the notion that there's cancer because all there is parasites.
Yeah, I didn't read that, but I've read that before. It's just...
Yeah, so everything's to do with parasites, and the medical profession won't tell you. Anyway, don't let me start on that because I feel mad now after the whole discussion. It's made me need to have a lie down and drink some wine. But it's too early in the day and I don't day drink, so that's left me in a bit of a quandary. So, all right, I think we covered some good ground here today. Snarky,
Yeah,
what
certainly,
do you reckon?
certainly. Yeah, I agree. We've covered a lot of topics. It's been a bit jumpy on my part, but
No,
it's
I
been
like
good.
to do that. It's been good.
Yeah.
So if you stay on the line, I'm going to wish my followers, not my followers, they sound so pretentious. I'm going to wish the listeners a fond farewell. And then I'll come back to you. So thank you so much, Snarky. It's been, as always, an absolute delight to have you on. You're an absolute wealth of knowledge, and my listeners and I love you. You always do very well. Everybody listens to you all over the world, which is awesome. And to my listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for tuning in to Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.